Pope Leo XIV, born Robert Francis Prevost, is the 267th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, elected in May 2025 following the death of Pope Francis. An American by birth and a devoted Augustinian missionary by vocation, Pope Leo XIV brings a lifetime of pastoral service, theological insight and international leadership to the papacy. He was born on September 14, 1955 in Chicago, Illinois, United States, to a Catholic family of strong faith. After discerning a religious vocation, he entered the Order of St. Augustine and made his solemn profession in 1981. He was ordained a priest on June 19, 1982. Father Prevost earned advanced degrees in theology and canon law in Rome and spent years as a missionary in Peru, where he served not only as a pastor but also as a leader in the Augustinian province. Known for his dedication to the poor and his ability to unite diverse communities, he was appointed Bishop of Chiclayo, Peru in 2015. In 2023, Pope Francis appointed him prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops, one of the most influential roles in the Vatican, overseeing the global appointment of bishops, a position that placed him at the very heart of the Church's leadership. Robert Francis Prevost was created a cardinal in September 2023, and less than 2 years later, he was called from among his brother cardinals to take the chair of St. Peter. In choosing the name Leo XIV, he signals continuity with Pope Leo XIII, the 19th-century pope known for championing Catholic social teaching and the dignity of workers. Like Leo XIII, Pope Leo XIV is expected to engage thoughtfully with modern society, uphold justice and mercy, and guide the Church through turbulent times with wisdom and courage. Before the name Leo XIV was spoken from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, the world held its breath. Following the death of Pope Francis, the cardinals of the Church entered into solemn conclave. 133 cardinal electors, from every continent, gathered beneath the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. On the second day during the second ballot, the white smoke finally rose. Bells pealed joyfully across Rome. Crowds surged into St. Peter's Square. Flags waved from every nation. Millions watched from homes, parishes and town squares around the globe. Yet, as the minutes passed, then a full hour, anxiety mingled with celebration. The red curtain stayed closed. And then the words rang out, Habemus Papam. Robert Francis Prevost was born on September 14, 1955, at Mercy Hospital in the Bronzeville neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois, to Mildred Prevost, who graduated from DePaul University with a bachelor's degree in library science in 1947, and Louis Marius Prevost, a United States Navy veteran of World War II and superintendent of Brookwood School District 167 in Glenwood, Illinois. His father was of Italian and French descent. His mother was the daughter of Louisiana Creole parents of African, French, and Spanish descent. Raised in Dalton, Illinois, a suburb bordering Chicago's far south side, Prevost grew up in St. Mary of the Assumption Parish where he went to school, sang in the choir, and served as an altar boy. He completed secondary education at St. Augustine Seminary High School, a minor seminary at the Felt Mansion in Holland, Michigan, in 1973. Prevost earned a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from Villanova University, founded by the Augustinians in 1977. He obtained a Master of Divinity from Catholic Theological Union in Chicago in 1982, and a Licentiate of Canon Law, 1984, and a Doctor of Canon Law, 1987, from the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas in Rome. His doctoral thesis was titled, The Role of the Local Prior in the Order of St. Augustine. Villanova University conferred an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree upon him in 2014. Following the death of Pope Francis, the Church entered a sacred pause, a time of mourning, reflection, and anticipation. From every continent, cardinals journeyed to Rome, called not by power, but by responsibility, to choose the next successor of St. Peter. On May 7, 2025, 133 cardinal electors, the largest number in modern history, gathered within the walls of the Vatican. Though the traditional cap is 120, a special allowance had been made, recognizing the global diversity of the Church. Each cardinal was under the age of 80, entrusted with a solemn task. Within the Sistine Chapel they took an oath of secrecy. Then came the ancient words, extra omnes, everyone out. The doors were sealed. To elect a new pope, a 2/3 majority was required, at least 89 votes. The first vote held that evening was inconclusive. A pillar of black smoke emerged from the chimney above the chapel. No pope yet. The world would wait a little longer. On the morning of May 8, the cardinals reconvened. As ballots were folded and prayers whispered, something shifted. A name was rising, gaining not just votes but conviction. In the second ballot of the second day the threshold was crossed. White smoke signaled to the world, Habemus Papam. We have a pope. The conclave had spoken with clarity and speed. A new shepherd had been chosen. The church had spoken. The 267th pope had been chosen. But as the minutes dragged on, the question burned deeper into every heart. Who is he? The square was alive with voices, yet filled with suspense. Reporters speculated. Devout pilgrims whispered rosaries. Some prayed. Some simply stared, waiting for the red velvet curtains to part. Why was it taking so long? It had been over 30 minutes since the white smoke rose. Was something wrong? Was he weeping in the room of tears, struggling to accept the keys of Peter? Was this the silence of awe, or a sign of conflict? But deep down the faithful understood, this was no ordinary choice, no political delay. This was the weight of eternity pressing down on one man's soul. From bustling cities to remote villages the world paused. Not for a celebrity. Not for a king. But for a shepherd. A voice that would soon greet them with the words, Fratelli e sorelle, brothers and sisters. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Is it someone unknown? Is it an African cardinal? Could it be an Asian pope for the first time? Or someone from Latin America again? Every guess carries hope. Every moment of silence deepens the mystery. Yet in this long pause no one leaves. No one turns away. Because the world understands, something holy is happening. And holiness does not rush. It has been nearly an hour. And still the people wait, not with impatience but with faith. For in this moment the church is not just watching history. It is breathing it. At last, after over an hour of anticipation, the words rang out from the loggia of St. Peter's. Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum, habemus papam. I announce to you a great joy. We have a pope. Eminentissimum AC Reverendissimum Dominum, Dominicum Mamberti. Dominique Mamberti, once a servant of the church in diplomacy and law, now called to shepherd the whole flock of Christ. Cassibi nomen imposit, Leo Quartus Decimus. Who takes for himself the name, Leo XIV. Pope Leo XIV, the 267th successor of Peter. A man chosen from among men, now bearing a burden few can imagine. His hands lift, not in pride but in blessing. The crowd falls silent again. And then the voice of the new pontiff, gentle, steady, in accented Italian, breaks the silence. Pope Leo XIV. Fratelli e sorelle buonasera? Brothers and sisters, good evening. Fratelli e sorelle buonasera? Brothers and sisters, good evening. The crowd cheers again, then quiets quickly to hear more. Pope Leo XIV, softly. I thank you for your prayers, for the church, for the cardinals, and for me, your new servant. I feel your love. And I entrust myself to your mercy as I entrust us all to the mercy of God. There was no thunder in his voice, no grand display. Only the quiet strength of a man who knew the cross he now carried. Pope Leo XIV delivered a significant inaugural address from the Vatican balcony, emphasizing themes of peace, unity, and inclusivity. He highlighted the Church's mission to be a bridge of dialogue and charity, particularly for those in need. Drawing inspiration from Pope Francis, he called for a just and peaceful world, expressing a desire to serve humbly alongside the faithful. He also addressed the Church of Rome directly, urging efforts toward inclusivity and openness, and greeted his former diocese in Chiclayo, Peru in Spanish. His message culminated in a communal prayer to the Virgin Mary for guidance and intercession in the Church's mission. Additionally, Pope Leo XIV celebrated his first Mass as pontiff in the Sistine Chapel with the cardinals who elected him. This Mass, held under Michelangelo's The Last Judgment, marked the beginning of his papal ministry and was a continuation of his commitment to the Church's mission. As the new pope disappeared behind the curtains of the apostolic palace, the echoes of joy lingered long into the Roman night. Pilgrims wept. Church bells rang across continents. From cathedrals in Europe to humble chapels in Latin America, the faithful gathered in spontaneous vigils, lighting candles and offering prayers for the man who now bore the weight of the keys of Peter. News agencies flooded with headlines, "The American from Peru is Pope, Leo XIV, a pastor pope, a quiet shepherd for a noisy world." In Chiclayo, Peru, his adopted home, the streets erupted in celebration. Parishioners remembered how Fray Robert had once walked among them, sat in their homes, baptized their children, and defended the voiceless. Now he sat on the chair of Peter. In his native Chicago, Stunned awe gave way to cheers in parishes and Augustinian communities. He had left as a missionary priest, he returned as pope. The next morning the world watched again as Pope Leo XIV celebrated his first Mass as pontiff, not in the grand setting of St. Peter's Basilica, but in the Sistine Chapel, among the very cardinals who elected him. Beneath Michelangelo's towering Last Judgment, the message was unmistakable. This ministry begins under the gaze of divine justice and mercy. He wore simple vestments. His homily was brief, filled with scripture and without flourish. The one who governs must be the one who serves, he reminded them, echoing Christ washing the feet of his disciples. There was no delay in signaling what kind of pontificate this would be. He asked that instead of a coronation, the papal inauguration be focused on prayer and charity. A papal lunch was cancelled, and its resources redirected to Rome's homeless shelters. He met quietly with staff at the Domus Sancti Marthi, thanking the cooks, the janitors and security guards. You are the ones who serve without being seen. I'm like you now. A message rippled through the Vatican. This pope is not coming to reign, he is coming to walk.